Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me again today on this little video. Welcome to the Pootlers team video hop. Today, a group of us Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in the Pootlers team are all posting videos, most of them using the fabulous new Carols of Christmas bundle. Unfortunately, due to a series of mishaps and mistakes, my Carols of Christmas bundle hasn't yet arrived in time for me to record this video. So I'm rebelling a little bit, and I am using this stamp set, which is the Merry Mistletoe stamp set from the new annual catalogue. It was a new set in the new catalogue, and I just love it. The set itself you can find on page 112 and 113 of the catalogue. It's here, all part of the Be Merry suite. As well as the stamp set, which is down here, you can see that. Parts of the suite are these wreath embellishments, which are so sweet. They're so tiny but beautiful. The metallic enamel shapes, some double stitched cherry cobbler ribbon, some designer paper, which features cherry cobbler and garden green and whisper white, and the stitch shape framelits dies, which all coordinate beautifully to make a set of cards. And my eye was straight away drawn to one of the cards on this side of the page. So one at the top here, if you can see, it's this one up here. And I just thought that was a really beautiful card. I liked it in those colours, but I thought if I'm going to case it, I'm going to change it up a little bit. So you can see on my example, I use slightly different colours. I quite often go with the blue-white Christmas theme. I quite like those colours, especially when it's dealing with snow. And I was quite pleased with the results here. And I'm going to show you today how I made my card using the Merry Mistletoe stamp set. So to start off with, I need a card blank, which I made using our thick whisper white cardstock. It measures 21 centimetres by 15 centimetres, and I've then scored at 10.5 centimetres to make my card blank. If you work in inches, it measures 8.25 inches by 5.75 inches, and it would obviously be scored halfway, which would be 4.125 inches. Okay, so that's my card blank. I'm going to put that aside for one little minute. I then need a panel of Bermuda Bay cardstock. Here's my cardstock, and this little panel measures 7.5 centimetres by 11 centimetres, or in inches, 3 inches by 4.25 inches. That's my Bermuda Bay panel, which is going to be my background, and as you can see, I've already embossed some stars onto there. I used our beautiful Oh My Stars embossing folder. I don't know if you can see the stars on there. Let me open it up, might be easier to see them. There we go. And I just placed the card in about halfway and just embossed half of the panel, because the bottom half is going to be covered up by the hills anyway, so I didn't need to emboss it all. I don't suppose it would matter if you embossed it all, but I just did half of it. You do get a little bit of a line here where the embossing folder ends, but I'm going to cover that up anyway. So that was my starting point, my Bermuda Bay panel with the stars embossed. I then needed, in order to make the hills here, I used one of our stitched framelit shapes. The stitch framelits are such good value. You get 12 dies for £27. Now, considering I've seen dies costing at least £7.99 for one die, this is amazing value. And the die I used was this largest oval die to make the hills. So that was out of that set. They're on page 214 of the catalogue if you want to know. £27, as I said, for 12. So I've already, here's one I prepared earlier, die cut 3 panels for using that die. I've die cut one from our silver foil, one from whisper white cardstock, and one from our Dazzling Diamonds glimmer cardstock. And I'm going to start today with the silver panel. I'm going to do it in slightly different order. Here I started with the glimmer, then added the white, then added the silver. I'm going to turn these two around. I'm going to do silver, then white, and then the glimmer today. Okay, so take the silver panel. This is going to be the one that's most central. You want to start about just a little less than halfway down. We're going to turn it slightly sideways so that this is a bit of a hill over that side, a bit of a slope down that side. Don't worry that it doesn't cover the whole thing, because these other ones are going to come in, and don't worry that it overlaps. We're going to trim that off in a sec. Okay, I'm going to use our tear and tape to adhere this down, just because it's quite easy and not messy, and also because some of this cardstock is not porous, it won't work well with the Tombow glue. Eventually the Tombow glue will just fall, it will just fall apart, because the Tombow glue can't penetrate and give it any hold. So I'm just using a couple of strips of our tear and tape, and I'm going to give in and use my tweezers. I know you've seen me using these a lot. They're not a Stampin' Up product, but they're invaluable to me because I haven't really got very good nails, so I can just get that point under there and get the edges off. Okay, available in most normal craft shops. Okay, so I'm going to place this on my panel, like I said, about less than halfway down and tipping it to one side, and I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to come in with my paper snips, and I'm going to trim off using the side of the panel as my guide, so I can press my scissors up and get a very straight edge. Just trim that off, because otherwise they might get in the way in a minute. So we've got one hill on there. It doesn't look like much of a hill at the minute until we add the other two. So I'm then going to go ahead and add my Whisper White panel. Okay, I want this to go like that, I think. Okay, and I don't worry about this bit because that's going to be covered up by the glimmer. Okay, so again, I'm going to use tear and tape. Again, because it won't stick very well with glue onto this silver, because the silver's not porous. So the tear and tape will do a perfect job. It's a very strong hold, and it will glue together really easily. So again, I'm going to use my tweezers to just take the backing off the tear and tape. If you've got nice long nails, you can do that with your nails. So I'm going to place this on here. How far over am I going to go? It's up to you. You can do lots of variety in this. There's no real right or wrong place to put it. So I'm going to put it there. Okay, and again, I'm going to go back in. I'm only doing this at each stage because otherwise you end up with 3 layers of card to cut through, which can be quite tricky. So if you do each one as you do it, then it makes it easier. So trim that off. There we go. We've got 2 hills on there now. And the last one, again, a bit of tear and tape. There we go. And take it off with the backing, take the backing off. I have to say I'm really sorry that I haven't got the Carols of Christmas bundle, but like I said, I did an order and forgot to add it, and then all sorts of things have happened. So where do we think? About there for the glimmer paper? I think so. And then we can just go back in and trim off the excess. And actually, I might even be tempted to use this excess to make another card, because you've got most of the panel there, so you could use that as a hill on another card. That bit, I wouldn't throw that away, because the glimmer paper is not cheap, so just keep all the little bits that you don't use. There we go, there's my panel. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that. I know I've got trees and things to add, but first of all I'm going to add it to another panel, which in this time I'm going to use silver to mount it onto. On my sample card, again, I used Pool Party as the mount. This time I'm just changing it up a little bit, so I'm going to use silver, and again I'm going to use the tear and tape. Again, because I'm sticking onto the silver foil, which won't give it any grip if I use the normal glue. And I don't want this card to be falling apart. As you can tell, I'm making this quite a way in advance of Christmas, so I don't want by the time Christmas comes here for somebody to be standing on their mantelpiece and for it to be falling apart because the glue hasn't held. There we go. So I'll put 4 strips of tear and tape, take the backing off those, and stick it onto my silver card. I have to say, this is the earliest I think I've ever made a Christmas card. I always intend to get organised early for Christmas and never make it. And by doing this video hop, It really has forced me, and I'm now thinking, well, if I got started on my Christmas cards, I actually might not end the year being so rushed and frenzied trying to do Christmas cards in December there. So I'm going to line this up carefully because I only get one chance with the tear and tape. So try and get it on straight. There we are. And that's my panel, my starting point. I'm going to mount it onto my card now. I'm going to do the trees last of all. So I'm going to mount it there. I'm going to put it slightly more towards the top because I need room for my greeting at the bottom. And this time I am going to use Tombow glue because I'm gluing card onto card. So that with the Tombow glue will be fine, and it will give me a bit of wiggle room if I don't get it on straight first time, which I always like, as you know if you've watched any of my videos. There we go. So let's put that on there, like I say, more to the top than the bottom because I need room for my greeting. So by eye, just make sure that you think you've got it quite central and quite straight, and press it down carefully. There we go. It needs to go up a little bit at the side there, I think. There we go. Okay, right, now for the greeting, as I said, I'm using the greeting from the Flurry of Wishes, this greeting here. I've got it mounted onto a G block, which it fits onto quite nicely. I'm going to stamp it down there with Bermuda Bay ink. So that will tie in with the panel at the top here again. Great with Stampin' Up. I can use cardstock and then I can use ink, and I know without fail they're going to coordinate beautifully and I don't have to put any effort into it. So here we go. Let's try and get this straight the first time. Ah, there we go, lovely. It's nice that this is photopolymer so you can see through it. I always think that's really useful with sentiments when you really need to get them straight. Okay, I love that. I love that font on there. I think that's a very nice Merry Christmas. I use that one a lot. Okay, and then I'm going to use my Whisper White. No, I'm not. I'm going to use my Pool Party pad. But instead of, you can see on my sample card, I used Pool Party card and stamped on with Pool Party. This time I'm going to use Whisper White card and stamp on with Pool Party. So it'll just give a slightly different look to the card. So I've got my stamp from the set here mounted onto a B block. There we go, which it fits onto quite nicely. I'm not going to stamp all of these because I've actually made some in advance. I just want to show you exactly what I did. So just a scrap of Whisper White card, stamp, and then just cut out carefully with your paper snips. Like I said, I'm not going to do this up for all of them. I'm just going to do one to show you, and then I am going to, so I've already got some other trees here ready to be mounted. So I'm going to take the backing. I've used our mini dimensionals on the back here, 2 on each tree, and I'm just going to arrange them. One there, I think, and oh, can't get the backing off that one, doesn't want to come. There we go. It can be quite fiddly sometimes, this backing. Stuck on there now. One there, so a little drop down. I'm going to do one on the other side of that hill on its own. I think 5 always looks good. I think odd numbers always look good when you're doing groupings like this. Don't use even numbers. Odd numbers always look good. I might put that one there. I'm just doing this by eye actually, so you can plonk yours wherever you like. And one there. And then once I've got these all mounted, we've got one more little job to do and the card is finished. There we go. And one more, just need the mini dimensionals, so I've got them on the back here. There we go. And my finishing touch when I've stuck this tree was just to use a couple of our metallic enamel shapes. So where should I put him? Up there? Yeah, there I think. Our metallic shapes, which we've got some little stars. I did try putting them on the top of the trees, but I didn't like them, so I went with what they did on in the catalogue and just put them randomly. So I put one, let's put one down there on, oh, it didn't come off, there we go, on that tree. One, get it, one up there, and maybe again in 3s because it just makes your eyes draw to, yeah, I'll put it there. And there's my card finished. Hope you enjoyed that little tutorial on how to make that. Please, if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be fantastic, so that you can see any other videos that I come out with. Or if you'd like to like this video or leave a comment, that would be fantastic as well. You can pop over to my blog and see some of my other creations. And don't forget to follow the links in the description below to all the other videos in the video hop today. Some beautiful things being created by our team members. Thank you for joining us. Hope you'll have a go at making this little card, and I'll see you next time. Bye.